And it's scoreless so far. For those of you just joining us, with 10 minutes and 44 seconds left, the flag was thrown right at Eric Moten's feet, the rookie from Michigan State.
Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler bring you this NFL Game of the Month. Dr. Pepper is just what the doctor ordered.
The holding call will go against the rookie from Michigan State, the left guard, Eric Moten.
San Diego trying to get that counter gap play going where they pull the left guard and tackle. There, Moten, the left guard, hooked Kevin Green, who was blitzing, trying to force the play back inside.
So now it'll be 1st and 20 for San Diego. Back outside of the Rams' 44-yard line. Freeze moving the pocket, underthrows his intended target, Anthony Miller, who was shut out last week for the first time in 38 consecutive games.
The Rams are going to show an awful lot of different looks on defense today, Joel, because they feel like they've got to keep fresh faces in there, and they like to create matchup problems for San Diego. But there, they went with a nickel package, being long yardage. There, Kevin Green and the other outside linebacker, Strickland, tried to get up underneath on some pass rush stunts. Wasn't much good.
You see the defensive rankings as it's now 2nd and long, 2nd and 20 for San Diego. They started with the ball back at their own 18-yard line. Freeze on the short one. Kendrick Taylor with a flag down in the play. It was Anthony Newman delivering that wake-up call early.
Newman, the nickelback, came in and really unloaded. Unbelievable. Well, we got an offsides call on the defense, so the play will not count. They'll get another chance to look at it there. But that was
number 97, defense, lined up in the neutral zone. 5 yards, repeat 2nd down.
Gerald Robinson, the right end on pass rushes. He a little bit offsides there, getting into that foreign territory. But the thing about the Rams, they're going to use a lot of different combinations, a lot of stunts. They know they're not big and strong enough to stand up against San Diego all day, but they think they can do some things with their speed and quickness and create some problems for them.
It was interesting yesterday, Dan, when you look at the Rams defensive front, their coordinator, Jeff Fisher, we're looking at right now, the defensive coordinator said, we mismatch. Well, right now it's a mismatch for us up front against San Diego. We don't have enough large bodies. 2nd and 15, Ronnie Harmon following his blocking very nicely to the 30-yard line.
Well, there's that counter gap play that Fisher was scared to death of. He said, look, to stop that play, we are just going to have to get an awful lot of good play out of our inside guys. Now, they've got some guys back off of the injured list with Alvin Wright, Robert Young, and Chris Pike going to play a lot today inside. But the thing is, those big guys have got to grab grass and anchor that blocking down scheme that San Diego has and not wash and create a big gap there for the backs.
3rd down for the Chargers. They converted on their first one deep in their own territory. This is now 3rd, a little bit better than 5. They pick up the blitz, and wide open is Anthony Miller. Touchdown, San Diego. "30 yards on the reception, and the Chargers with an early lead.
Jeff Fisher can't like that because he really felt like if they blitzed and put pressure on Freeze, they could create some problems and he not be able to hurt them as much. Here they're blitzing, an all-out blitz. They're bringing 8 guys. What they have is Terrell trying to cover Anthony Miller. Now, Terrell's a fine safety, but that's tough on a corner or anyone in a blitz condition.
John Carney on for the point after. So the Chargers get the ball, hang on to it for the first 6+ minutes of the opening 15 minutes of play, and score on their first drive of the day, traveling 82 yards in the process and are on top by 7. Anthony Miller with the 30-yard touchdown reception. That's only his 13th, make it his 14th catch of the entire year after accumulating 138 receptions the previous 2 seasons. So Miller is found early by Freeze, and if you're into omens, well, who scores first? The Rams 2-0 when they get on the board first, but 0-3 when it's the opposition. And right now, it's the opposition, San Diego, by 7. The Rams get ready for it for the first time this afternoon. And Ron Brown, the former Olympic sprinter, with a bit of a seam out to the 30-yard line. Just picked up a couple of weeks ago after he was waived as a defensive back by the LA Raiders. And we have an opportunity to check the ITT 10-minute ticker. The Washington Redskins win again. They are now 7-0. The New Orleans Saints also undefeated. New Orleans at 6-0. Buffalo rolling right along. 6-1 record for the Buffalo Bills. Dallas doing a number on Cincinnati at home, as Cincinnati is still looking for their first win of the year. And Minnesota is bouncing back, and they have won over Phoenix after that disappointment in Detroit. Everett throwing on first down. He's got a man available and overshoots by a good margin. Henry Ellard. Tough start this year for Jim Everett.
Well, San Diego's defense is going to be an all-out attacking style today. They feel like they got to keep Everett in the dark here. He hasn't been able to get on track. They're going to keep after him all day.
Finally, the Rams, Dan, have their offensive line healthy and back in their regular positions, especially Jackie Slater, who missed the last 3 games. Del Pino and McGee joining Everett in the backfield. Ellard and Cox are the wideouts, and Damone Johnson, the tight end. 2nd and 10 from the 30. Damone Johnson can't hang on, the tight end. He took quite a shot from Martin Bayless, the strong safety. Front 7, very effective group last Sunday against the LA Raiders. In fact, their last 2 games, very, very efficient efforts by this defensive front 7. Leslie O'Neal finally came up with his 2nd sack of the season. The right side linebacker, and in the secondary, Bird, Seal, Bayless, and the rookie from Texas, their first-round draft choice, Stanley Richard. So an early 3rd down for the Rams. Will it be 3 snaps and out? They've got a 3rd and 10 at their own 30. And Everett on his way down. A sack for San Diego, and it was Junior Seau. They call him the Mad Tanzanian.
Well, he plays like a mad Tasmanian devil, whatever you want to call him. All I know is this guy has got a rocket lit every time he comes out here. There you see Seau turning the corner, just running by Damone Johnson, the big tight end. It's a tough guy to handle one-on-one.
Dale Hatcher will punt it away for Los Angeles. A sack early for Junior Seau. And Kitrick Taylor had a 24-yard return last week against the Raiders. Waits back inside his own 40, calling for the fair catch. And he has it. So when we come back, the Chargers with a 7-point lead will have it 1st and 10 at their own 32-yard line. Anaheim Stadium, Joel Myers along with Dan Hampton. A 7-0 San Diego lead over the Los Angeles Rams. The Chargers get it back for the 2nd time. Their first drive, they took it 82 yards for his score. A 30-yard touchdown pass to Anthony Miller. Now they've got it 1st and 10 at their own 32. Marion Butt's first carry of the day. Can't break it to the outside. Still gets about 3, though, to the 35-yard line. Brought down by the middle linebacker, Larry Kelm. The blocker for so many years, Dan, for Sammy Smith, at least the last couple of years for Sammy Smith at Florida State. Asked him yesterday, you talked to Sammy much? He said, no, not since I played with him in Tallahassee.
Well, I tell you what, he should be getting residual checks, because Butt's a fine ball carrier, but he wasn't asked to do that in college, and now he feels like maybe, you know, what goes around comes around. He's getting his chances.
2nd and 7, the ball at the 35-yard line. The quick one for Anthony Miller. And he couldn't hang on to a very catchable ball at the 40-yard line.
The San Diego offensive line has been doing a very fine job of protecting the young quarterback, John Freeze. But the thing is, how much pressure can the Rams generate with just a 4-man rush? Here, they're not getting a big surge up the middle, and if they don't get that early, the coordinator, Jeff Fisher, will have to go back with that blitzing package, Joel. But that got him burned the first drive, so we'll just see if those front 4 guys can kind of kick it up a notch.
John Freeze now 4 of 7 passing. So Jeff Fisher, the coordinator, taking some chances early, and the Rams have definitely been burned early as Freeze has picked it up very nicely. Over the middle, Miller's got it. Another first down and then some for San Diego inside the Rams 40 on the crossing pattern.
Anthony Miller having a little bit of the drop-itis here the last couple of weeks, but here he's perfect. Freeze back, great protection by the line, throws a dart, splits the safeties, and This is where he's very dangerous, Joel. When he gets that ball and he can kind of slash across the field and try to get up the sideline. Big play for him.
Anthony Miller in his 4th year from Tennessee. Boy, has Tennessee turned down in recent years some great sprinters that have been outstanding football players as well as track stars.
Thoroughbreds.
1st and 10 just inside the Rams 40. The counter from Marion Butts. Good surge by the offensive line. That's 4 on the carry to the 36-yard line. As we have an opportunity to look at the ITT 10-minute ticker, all of us at NBC Sports would like to extend our condolences to the family of longtime NFL referee Gene Barth, who passed away Friday in his hometown of St. Louis after a lengthy illness. A distinguished 21-year career, worked Super Bowl 18. To the Barth family, our condolences from NBC Sports. Second and 6 at the 36. Marion Butts. Is he tough once he gets around the corner? And he's down inside the 33 near the 32.
Here we're going to see San Diego just basically run that veer package where they try to put Butts on the corner, get him isolated on maybe a safety or one of the lighter linebackers and let him just run over the guy. That's the thing about San Diego. They're so big. They got so much physical talent just to overwhelm you. By the end of the game, the Rams are going to be beat and bruised if they don't get them stopped early in this game.
You've got Butts at 245 pounds and Bernstein at 238 pounds in the backfield. Nice tandem. Pretty good 1-2 punch, 3rd and short, and it's complete to McEwen. He does have the first down inside the 30 of the 28. John Freeze looks like a completely different quarterback than we saw him week 1 against Pittsburgh.
It's funny how much this kid has just developed and matured. We saw in the first week, wide-eyed pup. I mean, didn't realize, you know, the intricacies. And talking with him yesterday, Joel, he said it's amazing to me how much of a small window of opportunity you have as a quarterback. If you misthrow the ball a foot one way or another, it could be an interception or a drop. And it's great to see a kid like this grow up so much each and every week, but he had to. I mean, it was his job to lose, and he's done a great job growing.
Well, you better believe that watching the T.W. Fishers or Steve's dugout back in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, his hometown, as Freeze has a wide-open H-back Derek Walker. Another first down with a flag on the play. He's down to the 16. More than enough for the first down, but there is a flag. And it goes against San Diego.
So much of it. We'll see what the call is here.
Number 53 offense, 10 yards, repeat first down.
Well, Courtney Hall, the center, number 53, more or less head fakes the guy to the left, gets him going, see? And then when they come back with that misdirection counter, boot action, then the guy tries to come back across your face, and a lot of times you lose your position. And it's pretty easy to get a holding call when you try to get a guy going one way and then he reverses and comes back. So they had their eye on him. That wasn't that bad of a hold.
So instead of a first down inside the 16, it's a first down and 20 for John Freeze. He had his man off the fingertips of Nate Lewis, and things are working over the middle early.
Part of the reason is those safeties are vacating that center portion of the field. They're out there. Jeff Fisher likes to run a lot of 6-call, which is basically the safeties getting on top, letting those corners get up and force things at the line. And when you do that, you're vulnerable to the quick slants, and we've seen 2 or 3 of them come open here.
Head coach John Robinson told us yesterday he loves the scheme and the philosophy. He truly feels, though, it's a year away until they get more bodies on the defensive side.
I think he just likes the aspect of going out and attacking people for a change.
2nd and 20. Sounds like a former defensive lineman to me. Flag on the air once again. Over the middle, it's complete. Kendrick Taylor has got it inside the 15. It's good enough for the first down, but let's find out about the flag.
Looks like offensive holding again.
Gordon McCarter calls procedure on San Diego. So twice now they've had a first down deep in Rams territory, taken away by yellow flag.
Illegal formation, offense, tackle not up on the line of scrimmage. 5 yards, repeat second down.
Don't see the tackle make that often, Dan.
Well, you'll see on the left of your screen here, looks like the right guard pops up. Looks like the Oh, I see. They were getting a call here that it was a tackle not on the line of scrimmage, Joel. So a lot of times those big tackles, if they're scared of that outside speed, they'll try to get a head start and back up off the line. He's up there closer now.
Delay. Ronnie Harmon into the secondary. Still on his feet inside the 30 with another flag down. It looks like it could be potentially another holding call as David Richards is upset. The right guard.
Jeez. Well, Dan Hanning can't be happy with the way this offensive line keeps shooting itself in the foot. Play after play, good play, penalty.
Holding. Number 65, offense, 10 yards, repeat second down.
David Richards, the big right guard. We'll get a look at this and see just how bad he tried to lighten up here. Hawkins, number 70, the defensive tackle, had a stunt charge on the inside. Richards, knowing he can't let him in there at any cost, grabs him. I tell you what, Joe, they're really watching this holding because it's not that bad. I've played in a lot worse conditions. Never got a call one.
That's 3 big penalties already on this drive for the San Diego Chargers. Drive that started back at their own 32-yard line. Without the flag, they'd be inside the 15-yard line of the Rams. Instead, now second and forever. And the quick one, Sean Jefferson has it. Outside of the 45 to the 48-yard line. But well short. A big third down coming up when we return. But first, Bob Costas and an update.
Joel, at Arrowhead, Miami tries for the tying TD. Sammy Smith hit, fumbled at the goal line. Linebacker Chris Martin picks it up. He goes an even 100 yards for the touchdown. We timed it in football pads, and even though he slows up at the end, 12.5 seconds to cruise goal line to goal line. 14-zip, KC.
Not too shabby for the linebacker.
It used to take me that long just to get my stance.
Third and 22 for the Chargers and Freeze. He's got Ronnie Harmon. And Harmon is put down after crossing the 35 to the 34-yard line. So will they bring in John Carney for the long field goal try? As it was Roman Pfeiffer, the second-round draft choice out of UCLA, making the hit.
Gerald Robinson got a little pressure coming around the backside. He's a right end, and the thing I like about Freeze is it looks like he's unaffected by this pressure early in the game. He's been remarkably cool and composed. That's a great asset to have as a quarterback. Just kind of repelling all that heat. Those defensive linemen like to see a little fear in your eyes, and if you don't show it, it's a big plus.
John Kidd will come in to punt it away for San Diego. They were thinking for a minute about the possibility of a long field goal try of 51 yards for John Carney. His longest this year, 48 yards. And now they'll take the delay of game call. Give Kidd a little more room to work with. 1 minute and 20 seconds left in the first 15 minutes of play. One dominated, completely owned by the San Diego Chargers to the extent that the Rams have only had 3 snaps.
Delay of game, offense. The yardage penalty is declined. It is still 4th down.
Well, more than anything else, Joel, the Rams defense really hasn't stopped San Diego. San Diego stopped itself.
The penalties have killed the Chargers on this drive after rolling down the field. If you joined us late on their first possession, 82 yards and 7 points on a 30-yard pass to Anthony Miller.
The Rams left a regular defense in here.
Kidd coming over to the near side, trying to get it out of bounds. Will it make the end zone? Yes. So when we come back, the Rams will get the ball for only the second time in the early going, down by 7. Finals already in on the ITT 10-minute ticker. The winners today, Washington 7-0 now. New Orleans putting together another solid effort, beating Philadelphia as the Saints are 6-0. Other winners, Buffalo, along with Dallas and Minnesota in the early games this afternoon on the ITT 10-minute ticker. And there's some of the late starts and a great start once again for the Kansas City Chiefs. And look at Atlanta's doing at San Francisco. 1st and 10 for the Rams at their own 20-yard line, down by 7. Robert Del Pino, the former Missouri Tiger, across the 22 out to the 23-yard line, put down by Junior Seau and Leslie O'Neal. Well, the Rams and Jim Everett, some of them said they don't have a lot of direction offensively. They don't know what they want to do at this point. Struggling so much in the passing game, they have not scored a touchdown in the first quarter this year. In fact, in the first and fourth 15 minutes of play this season, the Rams have been outscored 72-9. Everett with plenty of time throws behind the tight end Jim Price. What a grab he made, coming back to get it. And it's a first down for the Rams. Their first of the afternoon at the 44.
Well, Price is Everett's replacement for Houlihan. Houlihan, the fine possession tight end that moved on in Plan B this past year. And Everett told us yesterday he likes his kid. He's his roommate on the road, and he thinks he's got a chance to be something special.
That's the end of the first quarter, one that was dominated by San Diego's. The Chargers lead the Rams by 7. I've heard of slow starts before, Dan Hampton, but this is ridiculous.
I had a feeling that San Diego's just physical advantage would be something that would bear out a graphic like that, and so far that's what it's been. San Diego's just been pounding away.
First play of the second quarter, a 7-0 San Diego lead. The Rams have it first and 10 at their own 44. Del Pino cutting it back against the grain. Into San Diego territory, a nice run. Half of the run he was going backwards, but he'll take it out to the 48 of the Chargers.
Well, the Charger offensive line has been shuffled more than government papers this year, Joel, but they finally gotten 5 guys on the field they're real comfortable with, and part of that reason is Jackie Slater, the big right tackle, who I played against for years and years, and I consider him maybe the finest offensive tackle I ever played against. But not only is it just his physical presence, but he's the old sage out there. He's been playing so long. He's older than a volcano, but he's still a terrific football player.
Second down and a couple at the San Diego 48. Leading rusher for the Rams this year gets it again. Robert Del Pino. He's about a yard short of the first down. And we'll see. Rams get ready for their third and short. We'll check in with Bob Costas.
Joel, the Jets continue to play well, looking for their third consecutive victory. They have a 10-0 lead at home against Houston. Their touchdown drive capped by this 3-yard run from Brad Baxter. A while later, Pat Leahy nailed one from 21 yards out. Houston, usually good at home, often terrible on the road, trailing 10-0.
Thank you, Bob. And if ever you would have thought a team would have been devastated by one loss, it would have been the New York Jets after that Monday night setback to your former team, the Chicago Bears. Third and less than a yard for the Rams. Buford McGee, the former Charger, across the 45 down to the Chargers 44 for a first down.
Well, they've got Doug Smith at center, and Newberry moved back to the left guard. They ran right behind those two big guys, two very, very fine blockers, both been Pro Bowl a couple of times. And a lot of times you'll find an offense gets kind of predictable. When they got to have some tough yards, they usually go behind the horses.
Buford McGee with the Chargers from 84 to 86. Last year for the Rams, he carried it only 44 times, but he caught 45 passes. The Rams formation, they love to throw to the backs in the flat. First and 10 at the 44. Flags down to the play. Plenty of time again for Everett. The dump off is to Del Pino. And is he ever put down in a hurry by the linebacker, Henry Rolling?
Well, we've got a penalty flag here, but that was a play that was designed to go downfield, and for so many years, we'll see what it is here.
It's against San Diego.
For so many years, the Rams did probably as good a job as anyone in the league.
Offside, 92 defense, lined up in the neutral zone. 5 yards, repeat first down.
Grossman, the pass rushing in, he's trying to get a little bit of an edge, but the thing is, the Rams have not been effective throwing the ball downfield. On that last play, we saw Everett pump twice before he dumps to the back in the flats. Part of that is Everett may not feel as confident as he used to in going downfield, and the other thing is defensive backs have just been covering the receivers.
Jim Everett told us yesterday they're going up against the wideouts, trying to take everything away from the wideouts now. With the way the Rams have thrown to the long ball over the last 3 seasons, Del Pino has the first down on 1st and 5. All the way down to the San Diego 31-yard line where he's tripped up by Joe Phillips.
Uh-oh. Tom Newberry, the left guard, is down holding. No, it's Damone Johnson, the tight end.
Yes. We'll find out the injury situation for the starting tight end, Damone Johnson, for the Rams, when we return to Anaheim Stadium. Damone Johnson injured his left ankle on that last play, and you'll see why.
You'll see him come in motion there. 86 now. He's squared up on Junior Seau. Seau takes the outside shoulder away, giving Del Pino the inside gap. But there, 50. Gary Plummer, the middle linebacker, comes up and rolls up on his leg.
1st and 10 for the Rams. The 31 of San Diego. Everett in trouble. Dumps it off. McGee's got it. And McGee's got another first down. Dragged down by Junior Seau from behind. 13 yards on the completion. Good Buford McGee. Nice recognition.
Well, they brought a safety blitz there, Everett, knowing that he had a guy that was hot so much of the time. If a guy blitzes, the guy that's responsible to blocking, if you can get the ball to him, he can get some yardage.
We asked Jim Everett yesterday to give himself a report, at least a report card. He said a C so far. As you see the Dr. Pepper 10-minute ticker with the late starts today. Atlanta, the big surprise early over San Francisco, and the Jets leading by 10. A C so far, but he said, you have to remember, during the preseason, we really made a commitment to the ground game. We didn't throw the ball that much during the preseason. Everett with time and a wide open Jim Price, touchdown!
Oh! That is Everett's first touchdown of the year, and you've got to see a guy that's happy.
Relief. He's only a touchdown pass away for Jim Everett, and he's finally got it. The receiver is wide open, and you'll never see a man in the end zone. His tight end, Tony Zendejas, perfect in the extra point duties. Right on target once again.
Well, Everett sees Price on an outside corner pattern. Oh, yeah. Gotta love it.
Good form, Dan. John Robinson said at times he looks a little bit scattered back there in the pocket. Didn't look that way that last time. So Everett's finally got a touchdown pass. The Rams have a score early in the second quarter, and it's all even in Anaheim. Well, you didn't have to leave the Everett compound for that touchdown pass. Roommate to roommate, Jim Everett to Jim Price, the former Stanford Cardinal. And Everett finally has his first touchdown toss of the season. Over the last 3 years, 83 touchdown passes for Jim Everett, tops in the NFL. Hard to believe he was shut out that long, 5 games worth.
I know who's going to buy the room service this week.
It'll be Donnie Elder bringing it back. Good burst to the outside across the 35. And he's all the way to the 38-yard line with the Chargers have it 1st and 10.
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Domino's Pizza. Call Domino's Pizza right now, and you'll be enjoying a hot, delicious pizza during halftime.
Well, Damone Johnson just left the contest due to an injury. The man who came in, Jim Price, the touchdown reception.
Well, the thing is, Everett goes straight back, sees the entire field. He sees Price break free from the safeties, and a lot of people have questioned his courage, his technique, his mechanics. Hey, that looked like a big-time quarterback there.
28-yard return, Donnie Elder gives the Chargers great field position, 1st and 10 at their own 38. Anthony Miller on the reception. Short pass play outside the 40 of the 44-yard line. Well, they went with a long one. On the very first pass play of the game, John Freeze looking for Sean Jefferson. Does that tend to open it up a little bit for the underneath later?
Well, I think what that does is send a signal to the defensive backs. Hey, you can't get up on your toes on us today because we're going to go ahead and air it out early and let you know that we're not scared to throw against you. So I think it does. It sends a message.
John Freeze, one of only 2 quarterback starters in the NFL, under 50% incompletion so far this season. Giving it off to Rod Bernstein for a first down into Rams territory down to the 46-yard line. Huge hole over the right side.
That's the play that Jeff Fisher was worried about. It's a counter G. They call it the counter G. It's a counter gap. They bring those big guys that get big bodies on not so big bodies. They've got linemen on linebackers. Here you'll see the left guard getting out there. It's really the sweep play. They're just stretching the defense. And the only thing is, how long can the Rams stand up to this kind of pounding? They're not as big as San Diego.
It's tied at 7 with 9 minutes and 50 seconds left in the first half. All of those first downs come in on the Rams' last possession. And on 1st and 10, Bernstein high-stepping his way to the secondary with a flag on the play. For another first down at the Rams 34. What is the penalty marker all about? Chargers have killed themselves with penalties already today, and they do it again. That is their 4th. They had 3 penalties on the last drive.
Holding, number 77, offense, 10 yards, repeat first down.
Second holding call on the rookie from Michigan State. Second-round draft choice for Dan Henning and Bobby Beathard, Eric Moten.
Well, you'll see on the left side of your screen there, the defensive player gets back up underneath him. He's got to try to tackle him. Here you'll see 70. Now that's not real smart. I don't care if you're a rookie or you've been around 20 years. The guy can't make a difference in the play. Don't do something like that. Try to tackle him. Let him go.
So instead of first down deep in Rams territory, it's 1st and 20 back at the Chargers 44 with Bernstein in motion. Bernstein's the target. And he's got it at the midfield stripe. The reception good for a little more than 6 yards. He was a running back in high school, converted to a tight end in high school, converted to a running back in college, and then back to a tight end in the pros. He said it's been a very smooth transition, especially since the knee injury, because he feels like he's not taking as many shots on the knee as he would if he was on tight end on the line.
Well, that's the thing. As a running back, the only time anybody comes after you is when you got the ball and you're ready and you're prepared for it. At tight end, you got guys being flung around in there, and he was a little bit more concerned with his knee, so he said running back's fine with me, coach.
Call it 2nd and 13. Breeze with pressure, has a man. It's complete. Lewis has it. He'll go the distance. There is a flag on the play. Touchdown, San Diego. Flag was thrown normally where you see a defensive holding call.
Well, I think Jerry Gray said, I know I'm beat. I'm going to try to grab him and stop him if I can.
Contact, number 25, defense, penalty decline, touchdown.
It was called on Jerry Gray. Nate Lewis with the 49-yard touchdown reception, and the Chargers take the lead once again.
Jerry Gray was up in a bump and run from the left side of your screen. Freeze sees that Lewis has beaten him. And now Gray's just in a tailgate position trying to grab whatever he can get hold of. Not good.
John Carney in for the extra point attempt. And the former member of the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame, putting the Chargers back up by 7. They've got their second lead of the contest with 8:38 left in the first half. John Carney ready to give it back to the Los Angeles Rams, but another very effective drive for the San Diego Chargers. They started back at their own 38-yard line, getting some runs in early, and then the big pass play, a 49-yard touchdown score. On the reception by Nate Lewis, Vernon Turner lets it move over his head in and out of the end zone, so the Rams will have it now. 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line. Another time out of the field. We'll be right back with Big A in Anaheim, California, with a little more than 8.5 minutes left in the first half. Chargers back on top of the Rams once again, 14-7. Joel Myers and Dan Hampton at Anaheim Stadium. The big play, a big part of the San Diego offense already today. As you can see, average yards per play. A 30-yard touchdown pass from Freeze to Anthony Miller, and that last one, a 49-yarder to Nate Lewis.
Well, the impressive thing is both touchdown drives, they had gotten into a 1st and 20 hole, and they got out for a touchdown. So that's very, very nice.
Third time the Rams have had the ball in the first half. At 1st and 10, the give goes to Robert Delpino. Over the left side, he was dragged down by Leslie O'Neal in a hurry after a gain of only a yard. When the Rams don't get the ground game going for their last 21, and they're under 100 yards, a 1-10 record for the Los Angeles Rams.
Well, John Robinson has traditionally been such a big advocate of big guys knocking people off the ball, running backs making $1,200, $1,500 100 yards a year. And, I mean, I think it really bothers him if they can't get the running game going, and it bears it out there. They don't win.
Student body left, student body right. For 7 seasons at USC, John Robinson now in his 9th year as the head coach of the Rams. Everett with time and a wide open Jim Price. His roommate's got another grab and a first down for the Rams, but there is a flag down on the far side. As Price is put out of bounds at the 32.
Well, if Everett keeps throwing to Price on next week's road game, they're going to have about 10 guys wanting to sleep in the same room with him.
Offside. Defense number 92 lined up in a neutral zone. Penalty declined. First down.
Bird's trying to get that edge, Dan.
Well, the thing about Grossman is he's more of a speed type defensive end. And the thing about the defensive ends on that line of scrimmage, the more ground that you get, that you can eat up on your lineup, the less you have to make up when you're trying to turn that corner. So Grossman's a fine player. Needs to stay out of that neutral zone.
1st and 10 for the Rams at Everett, their own 32-yard line. Delay, Robert Del Pino barely gets out of the backfield. Put down by George Hinkle after a gain of only a yard. It's been a real turnaround for the San Diego Chargers over the last 2 games after allowing an average of more than 380 yards and 25 points in their first 4 games. San Diego has given up an average of only 230 yards and a little more than 13 points over the last 2. So the defensive front 7 in particular has really turned it around.
Well, Big Joe Phillips and Hinkle and those guys inside there, they're close to 300 pounds, all of them. And it's just tough to sell yourself to run against those guys, especially when they've got Junior Seau, the headhunter, up and down the line if you try to run tackle to tackle.
It is a very warm day in Southern California. Temperature right around 90 degrees. A little bit better than 90 degrees. Everett's throwing for Del Pino. On the Missouri Tiger takes a shot after a reception of close to 7 yards, put down by Stanley Richard and Junior Seau. Look now on the Dr. Pepper 10-minute ticker at all the scores of the afternoon. Washington at 7-0. New Orleans also undefeated. They are 6-0 after topping the Philadelphia Eagles on the road today. Buffalo rolling right along to a 6-1 record. They destroyed Indianapolis. Dallas has really turned things around and finally winning another one at home after losing their first 2 at home this year. The Cowboys have a 5-2 record. And in the late games, Kansas City all over the Miami Dolphins, just like they were on Monday night against the Buffalo Bills, as Houston finally gets on the board against the Jets. Everett with a quick one for Allard. Allard was the motion man, and he's got a first down on 3rd and 4.
Great job by Henry Allard reading the defense and just breaking this pattern off quick. Everett gets the ball to him in a hurry. Here you'll see San Diego. They're trying to just crush the pocket with an outside blitzer. There, Henry Allard, one of the real classy receivers in this game. He doesn't get mentioned all the time in all pro teams, but oh man, this guy used to kill us every time we'd come out here. So it's great to see Henry getting off and catching some balls early.
Told us yesterday it's frustrating. You go 10 yards down the field and all of a sudden you hear a roar from the crowd. You look back and Everett's on his wallet. That's too often this year.
That's what it's been.
Counter play for Cleveland Gary, his first carry, and he hangs on to the ball, which is news in Southern California because that's why he's not seen as many snaps, fumbleitis early in the season. Gary Plummer on the stop for San Diego.
Gary Plummer basically is the enforcer on that defensive interior. He's just a terrific linebacker, played a long time, and you got to think that San Diego, they look to a guy like that for leadership because they've got an awful lot of young players, especially in offense, and Plummer's one of those guys. He's kind of the old sage, and he's still playing good football. Playing with four pins and a fractured thumb.
Everett's hit his last 6 straight, make it 7 for 7 as Jim Price, his roommate, has a first down inside the 40. On 3rd and 8, goes to Price to the 35.
I'm not kidding, Joel. They're going to have roller beds in there. There's San Diego just bringing an outside blitzer there. Leslie O'Neal. Everett calmly just throws it out there to Jim Price. First down. Nothing to it.
Free agent acquisition out of Stanford in his first year, Jim Price. Doing a great job in the first half. Ramon Johnson, normally the starting tight end, but he has been slowed early by an injured left ankle, and Price making the most of the opportunity. And now it's first down for the Rams. Starting with the ball at their own 20. It's all the way down to the San Diego 35. Damone Johnson, the reception, the other tight end. He's got a good pass completion. And now Jim Everett has hit his last 8 straight. Talk about a quarterback in a groove.
This doesn't look like the same quarterback that was playing in New Orleans earlier in the year. The Rams just seemed to have gotten off track early, and they really felt like this break was a time where they could kind of regather and regroup, and more than anything else, maybe get some guys healthy. Having Jackie Slater back, Doug Smith, the fine center, it's a lot better picture for Everett when he's standing up back there than when he's sitting down.
After missing his first 2, Jim Everett's hit his last 8 straight. The counter for Robert Del Pino on 2nd and short. I believe he's got the first down. Nudging it inside the 25-yard line. He's put down by Joe Phillips and Junior Seau. And it is a first down. Is this going to be one of those old shootouts in very warm conditions where you could possibly, Dan, wear down a defense that's been out there too long?
Well, I don't know if you can really wear down the San Diego defense. They're used to this weather, and they practice in it all the time. And they've got those big guys that can stand up and play. Big guys don't have to play at 100% efficiency every play. Just sheer weight and size can let you get by every once in a while, where a smaller guy has to play at 100%.
First and 10 for the Rams. The Charger 25, the reverse for Ron Brown. Brown inside the 20, scrambling for the first down at the 14. Second extra effort. And that brings us to the 2-minute warning at Anaheim Stadium. So the Rams are driving, but the Chargers still maintain that 7-point lead of the 2-minute warning. Well, I was just talking about the warm conditions in Southern California, but I didn't think the heat would get to everyone this early. Hopefully it is cool and comfortable in the studios in New York as we're getting ready for the Domino's Pizza NFL Live halftime report. I don't think the threesome in New York will be doing the same gyrations Bob Costas, Will McDonough, and Bill Parcells with. An NBC News update as well, all the scores and highlights. But the temperature in the low 90s this afternoon. Well, John Robinson coming off a 5-11 year with the Los Angeles Rams. He was very honest with us yesterday. He said, we were a lousy team. The players didn't perform, and the coaching staff didn't do a good job either. First and 10 for the Rams with Charger 14. Pocket holding up for Everett. The reception, the first for Aaron Cox of the day, inside the 10-yard line for about 5 yards. Junior Seau taking down the wide receiver.
And talking with Robinson, it's interesting, Joel, because he's been a great coach here in L.A., but I think I sense an awful lot of change in philosophy. He feels like the teams that they had in the 80s, they were great and they were fine, but he really feels like he's having to make some major changes for the 90s. And one was going to the new style of defense, bringing Fisher in with that attacking 46 look. The other thing is an offense. He's made some different commitments.
Everett into the corner for Price. Will there be a flag on the play? Yes. A flag. Martin Bayless pulling down the tight end. Jim Price has been open consistently in the first half.
Well, Martin Bayless hasn't had too good a day so far.
Pass interference, number 44, defense in the end zone. The ball will be put on the 1-yard line, first down and goal.
Well, you'll see Jim Price isolated one-on-one with Bayless. Bayless beat. He's just trying to tackle him now. Definitely interference, definitely first down.
And Bayless getting the start over the last 3 games for Anthony Shelton, who started the season at strong safety. So now it's first and goal as the Rams try to tie it up at the 1-yard line. Minute 20 seconds left in the first 30 minutes of play. McGee and Del Pino, it'll be Del Pino. And he is wrapped up right at the 1-yard line. Henry Rowley coming in from the outside. The linebacker making a fine play. He's the one who picked up that fumble last week and rambled 57 yards deep into Los Angeles Raider territory.
Well, that's some of the things that you have to do to be a good team, is create big plays. Joe Phillips, a nose tackle, knocked that one out. Here, you'll see him knifing in from the outside, just tying up the legs, keeping Del Pino from being able to jump over.
Second and goal. Just outside the 1. Under a minute left in the first half. Del Pino tries to go low this time. Does not get in. He's just inside the 1-yard line. Clock continues to roll with 30 seconds left. Rams have plenty of timeouts remaining, all 3. And now they will stop it, using their first in the first half.
But in talking about Robinson and the change in his commitments, I just think that they really need to punch this one in.
Here, right back to Los Angeles on NBC. Rams have it just inches away from the goal line, trying to tie it up with 22 seconds left in the first half, and it's 3rd and goal. Del Pino in the eye behind Buford McGee. It's Del Pino, and he's in. Touchdown Rams.
By any other name is still a Rose, and John Robinson got down to the 1-yard line. He ran the same exact play 3 times in a row. The 3rd time's the charm. But I mean, that just goes to show you, John Robinson still believes in certain things, and he stuck with that one till it went.
Tony Zendejas trying for the equalizer. And it is all even at Anaheim Stadium. 6th touchdown of the year for Robert Del Pino, the former Missouri Tiger. He has 6 of the 9 Ram scores so far this season. And it's tied at 14. Del Pino, the leading rusher for the Rams, and also came into the game as the leading receiver. Well, when we talked to John Robinson yesterday, he was very matter-of-fact about it. They've had a week off to prepare, so 2 weeks to get ready for the San Diego Chargers. He said, look, we've got 11 games left. Realistically, we've got to win 7 or 8 to put together any kind of season.
Well, I think that's the key thing. Maybe the Rams have a little bit more to play for today. San Diego 1-5. They kind of have to look at just trying to be respectable and gain respect this year. Whereas Robinson, hey, he says that we are still in this thing. If we get to 3-3, then we can start that surge. And the thing is that he felt like that week off got him a chance to get some of his big horses back off the injured list. And I just think he really feels like this is a fine football team, and it'll be a lot better in December than it is today.
On the other side, Dan Henning told us that it was like a Super Bowl win in the locker room at the Coliseum. The San Diego Chargers beating the Los Angeles Raiders the first time in many, many years on the Raiders' home surface. First time they'd ever beaten the Raiders since they moved to Los Angeles. And he said, but what was great about it was on Monday, they were back to business. They weren't doing those things that they were doing on Sunday.
Well, that shows you that those kids have started maturing, and they're really wanting to be a good football team rather than just talking about it.
Lewis waiting back deep, but it'll be a short one. And it'll be Nate Lewis. He's got to hurry up. Loose ball. Can the Rams get to it? It's down inside the 5. Who's got the ball? I think San Diego came up with it around the 2-yard line. Nate Lewis a little bit nonchalant of the play. Yes, San Diego's got it with 14 seconds left in the half.
You talk about a car wreck waiting to happen. That was smart for the kicker to kick it onto that dirt. You get some bad bounces, and it was crazy. DeHaas just punches it through the hole. Here you'll see, once it hits this dirt, it's hard to play it. Like those shortstops, nobody knows where it's going to go. There it gets a bad kick. San Diego's darn lucky to get this ball back.
Sammy Lilly almost came up with it. And then running down, Linnell Sanders, former Chicago Bear, trying to pick up the loose one.
He's their headhunter on special teams. He'll always be around that ball.
Well, the Chargers want to take a snap and run it out now. It's tied at 14. It'll be Ronnie Harmon. Green almost got him right on the goal line. He surges ahead outside the 1. Kevin Green doing a good job on the outside. There is a timeout called by the Rams. Be right back for the final 6 seconds of the Big A, tied at 14. Well, 3 of the strongest teams in the NFL. Dallas turning out to be quite a unit this year at 5-2 now with their win over Cincinnati. Minnesota bouncing back from a devastating setback to Detroit last Sunday. And now Houston has taken their first lead of the day over the New York Jets. Kansas City continues to roll. And we'll see the Chiefs next week at Mile High Stadium in Denver. 2nd and 9. And going nowhere, it's the running back for the Rams. Try to stop it one more time with a second to go. Yes, they have called a timeout. That was Marion Butts, who didn't fumble the ball all last year, rushing for better than 1,200 yards, so a pretty safe call going to number 35.
Well, not only that, but I just think San Diego's offensive line better not be taking these plays off. They need to get some surge. They're almost in danger of getting a safety called against them here. They need to kind of get somebody knocked around off that line. You'll see Butts hitting up in there. Hey, that's just a step one way or another from a safety.
Alvin Wright plugging that gap and making the hit for the Rams. Big number 99 who's back after missing the Packer game. They're still missing Mike Peel. They're missing some of the big bodies still up front. Chris Pike has done a fine job for John Robinson, and he was telling us about the rookie 5th-round draft choice from Mississippi State, Robert Young, who you'll see throughout the course of the afternoon, number 76, who has done a sensational job. They didn't expect to use him that much in the early going, but John Robinson says he's a keeper. He wants to eventually put him on the outside in the end position. He's very developed in the lower half of his body. He's bulked up during the offseason up top. So positive things for this 4-3 alignment for the Rams down the road. And did Green get him in the backfield? Yes! Is it a safety? I believe so! On the final play, the Rams get 2 points!
I told you that.
Kevin Green scoring one for the defensive unit.
I've got to think that they have to look at themselves in the mirror inside there and say, what were we thinking?
Dan, why would they throw the ball just to get it out of there?
Well, you've got the #1 rushing attack in football. If you can't just knock people off the line and get out of the end zone, then you got problems. There, the Rams swole up big time and kept them from making anything.
So Kevin Green, the first one there, and then he got help from big number 53, Fred Strickland. And all of a sudden, a halftime lead, an unexpected one for the Los Angeles Rams as they're up by 2. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station and a word from the NFL. Myers with Dan Hampton, the Rams with a 2-point lead, scoring on that safety on the final play of the first half. And Dan really it's paid off moving Kevin Green around in that 4-3.
Well, that's the thing. He's so much better when he plays in space. Here, basically unblocked. Comes in and it traps the back for the safety. But the thing is, he's so much better when he stands up and moves around.
So the momentum has certainly turned in the second quarter, and now at halftime as the Rams lead it by 2. Let's head to our studios in New York now on NFL Live with Bob Costas.
This is the Domino's Pizza NFL Live Halftime Report. Brought to you by Domino's Pizza. Nobody knows like Domino's how you like pizza at home.
Okay, Bob Costas with Bill and Will, and we'll get their comments in just a moment. Quickly, though, right to the scoreboard. Kansas City playing at home, pounding the Dolphins 28-0. You'll recall the Dolphins beat them 17-16 in that wild card game at Joe Robbie last year. But Don Shula's team is decimated by injuries this time around, and Christian Okoye has been giving them lick after lick. He carried the ball the first 5 plays from scrimmage for Kansas City, including this 38-yard touchdown run. He had 18 first-half carries for 117 yards. And then a real crusher. Sammy Smith, goal line bound, coughs the ball up, picked up by Chris Martin, the linebacker, goes 100 yards for a touchdown. Second longest touchdown return with a fumble in the history of the league. The record 104 yards for Jack Tatum of the then Oakland Raiders against the Packers in September of 1972. What is the third longest, you asked? I'm happy to oblige. 98 yards by Papa Bear George Halas for the Chicago Bears in November of 1923. They were on the road, folks. The game was played in Marion, Ohio against the Oorang Indians. Bill?
Well, Kansas City, I'll tell you, the last 2 weeks here now, Buffalo, Miami, considered probably last year to be the 2 top teams in the AFC. They're playing as well as anybody. Denver on the road next week for first place.
Houston on the road this week, where historically they have had problems under both Glanville and Pardee, and they spotted the Jets a 10-0 lead. But now at the Meadowlands, the Oilers have claimed the advantage at 13-10 over Bruce Coslet's team, going for their 3rd consecutive victory. On the Jets' opening drive, it's Ken O'Brien off the play fake. He'll throw across the field to Brad Baxter. Baxter, after making the catch, will break a tackle and get all the way down to the Houston 3-yard line. He ran it in on the next play for a 7-0 lead for the Jets. A Pat Leahy field goal made it 10-0. And then Warren Moon, following a Chris Dishman interception, which gave them good field position, hits Curtis Duncan for the TD. They missed the extra point. It was 10-6. Subsequently, here's Warren Moon on what looks like a college play. The old option pitch out to Lorenzo White. White scores, but Moon, as you saw, really took a knock on the play, and he's been replaced at quarterback by Cody Carlson for Houston, and we don't know how serious Moon's injury is. We'll try and stay on top of it for you.
But that's why pro coaches don't like to run the option play too much, because that's what's going to happen. Your quarterback is going to get nailed, and he took one right on the chin from Joe Kelly's helmet.
Would you ever have run that with Sims or Hostetler?
I would have run it with Hostetler, not with Sims. He was a little slow to get there, Bob.
I guess that's a good point, too. Atlanta's playing at San Francisco. The Niners, a big home favorite, obviously, but at halftime, the Falcons lead at 20-14. Chris Miller got them started with a pair of quick touchdown passes in the first quarter, and they lead by 6 at the half. In the game you're watching, the Rams get the safety right at the end as Marion Butts is tackled in the end zone by Kevin Green. That's the difference, 16-14 in favor of the Rams at the half. Washington goes to 7-0. They pound Cleveland today, 42-17 at RFK. Actually, the Browns hung with them. It was 21-17 early in the second half, but then the Redskins opened it up. They had a couple of guys with big days. Ricky Irvins had 133 yards rushing for them, and they go on to win it by a score of 42-17. And Art Monk caught 7 passes for a total of 755 in his career. He moves past Charlie Joyner into second place behind Steve Largent on the all-time list. New Orleans is 6-0. They win a defensive struggle at Philadelphia, 13-6. They used Brad Gable and Pat Ryan at quarterback. The Eagles did. Between them, they were intercepted 5 times, and they also were sacked 4 times, so the Saint defense doing the job as they go to 6-0. Buffalo is 6-1, and they are just a terror at home. 42-6 is the final score in this game. Thurman Thomas rushed for 117 yards. Kenneth Davis had 109 yards, including a 78-yard touchdown run for the Bills. Take a look at what the Bills do at home. They're averaging 41 points per game at home. On the road, an entirely different story. They've struggled to road victories against the Jets in Tampa Bay. Then on Monday night, they were clobbered at Kansas City. They get back on their home turf today. Combination of home cooking and Indianapolis as the opponent, 42-6.
Well, I thought I saw something in the Buffalo game. It's the first time I've seen them do it in 2 years. They tried to slow the game down after the first period. They only had the ball for 3 minutes and 25 seconds. That's why they started running, doing what Detroit does with Barry Sanders, trying to keep their own defense off the field, and I think they were successful with it.
Jim Kelly was shaken up near the end of the first half. They tell us he could have played in the second half, but they had such a big advantage. They let Frank Reich come in. He threw a couple of touchdown passes. They sent Kelly home. He'll be fine for the next game. Dallas had to rally late, and they win at home over Cincinnati 35-23. Dallas 5-2, Bengals 0-6. Phoenix walloped at Minnesota. Vikings prevail 34-7. And in the American League Championship Series, Toronto has to win to stay alive. And in the fourth inning, after trailing 2-0, they have claimed the lead at 3-2 at the Skydome. And we're back with more. Actually, we'll send it back to Anaheim for the second half kickoff right after these messages from your local stations.
Welcome back once again to Anaheim Stadium. Joel Myers, Dan Hampton, the kickoff, and Vernon Turner bringing it back to the 25-yard line as we join you just a tad late. Turner, first year from Carson Newman with a nice return. Talk about a team losing the momentum, Dan, that the Chargers had in the first quarter to the point where the Rams really took it over in the second quarter of play.
Well, I think San Diego was pretty happy with everything up until the very last play where they got the safety called on them. And there's a lot of ways you can avoid that, but I think the thing was that the Rams made that play happen.
First and 10 from the 25, Delfino. Only with 2. After the 27-yard line as he's taken down by Joe Phillips.
Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler bring you this NFL Game of the Month. Dr. Pepper is just what the doctor ordered.
So the Rams lead it by 2, 30 seconds into the second half. A 2-point conversion of the safety for Kevin Green. First safety for the Rams since 1988. You can see the Rams had it only 3 times in the first half as Everett is going for the tight end, Damone Johnson. Not much there out of the 30-yard line. A gain of only 3 on the completion. Seau wrapping him up with Gary Plummer. And that last safety for the Los Angeles Rams also picked up by Kevin Green back in '88 against the Raiders.
Well, you'll see Green, 91, just come in unblocked. Hendrickson, the H-back, runs right by him, turns him loose. But the thing is, with this new style of defense, the Ram defensive front made that happen. Attacking, pressuring. Last year, it would have been pretty easy to get a first down. This year, it's another story.
Now it's 3rd and 5 at the 30-yard line. I want to continue with that story in just a second, Dan, after this 3rd down with Everett in the shotgun. Everett has a wide open man and shoots it wide of Henry Eller, who's available at the 40-yard line. Let's go back to that last play, though, and the decision-making of the coaching staff of the San Diego Chargers. On that type of play with 1 second left, why wouldn't you put a wide out to the far side and maybe just throw it at his feet, throw it over his head?
Well, I guess if everyone knew the answers to these questions, Joe would have about 200 million NFL coaches. But you're right. There's some things you could do to not even put yourself in that position.
Kittrick Taylor waits for the punt from Dale Hatcher. Hatcher with a low line drive. Taylor will stay away from it. It takes a Charger bounce, and Price, who's been very involved in the first half, the tight end, gets a hand on it. Fortunately for the Rams. At the 41-yard line, so weak effort by the punter Dale Hatcher of only 29 yards with flags down back at the original line of scrimmage. John Robinson told us yesterday 2 out of every 3 punts by Dale Hatcher remind you of the old Dale Hatcher when he was doing so well his first couple of seasons in the league, but not lately, as he's shown that type of promise once again.
A lot of times they'll play just well enough to break your heart.
Ineligible downfield, number 55 kicking team. Penalty declined. First down.
Best field position to start a drive so far today for the San Diego Chargers. There's the guilty party, Glenell Sanders. But the Chargers now get it 1st and 10 at their own 42-yard line. They trail by 2, and what a sensational first half it was for John Freeze. He had almost 200 yards, a couple of touchdown tosses, one of 30 yards, another of 49 to Nate Lewis. And on play action, looking deep, he looks for Anthony Miller. Henley's there, and it's almost taken by another Chargers. It was poked away by Henley. Coming down, it was Craig McEwen who almost came up with a loose ball.
Well, the thing is, Freeze is fearless today about going deep and across the middle. That's something that young quarterbacks traditionally have problems with. Here he's throwing it without any type of pressure in his face, able to step through. Maybe just a little bit underthrown. But the thing is, I like the way that San Diego has said, hey, we're just going to go ahead and throw the ball deep when we want to. You'll have to stop us. We're not scared to do it.
2nd and 10 back at the 42. Ronnie Harmon in the misdirection, wrapped up by Larry Kelp. He gets only 2. Close to the 44-yard line.
Coming into the game, San Diego was number 1 in the league rushing the ball and 27th in the league at passing. And really the passing game is what has put them into, the game here with getting 2 touchdowns by quarterback John Freeze, able to beat the timing patterns on the blitzes and getting the ball to the wideouts and letting them make things happen. So kind of a reversal of what we really expected.
Ronnie Harmon stays in the backfield, their 3rd down specialist who came into the game leading the Chargers in receptions. And now it's 3rd and 8 at the 44.
It's a planned rollout, a dash.
And it's overthrown, looking for Anthony Miller. Darrell Henley with the great coverage. The cornerback, Henley, has maintained that starting position for the Rams, even though they drafted Todd Light, the rookie from Notre Dame, who's out today with an ankle injury, an ankle sprain. He may miss a couple of weeks now, but Henley has been able to keep his starting position on the corner.
Not only that, but you talk to Jeff Fisher, he says, hey, this kid is a player. A lot of times you put him in a situation like that, you can either become worse or better. Henley is probably one of the best cover corners right now in the league, and the secondary for the Rams is really the bright spot of the defense so far.
3 snaps and out for both offensive units on their first possession to the second half. As John Kidd sends out a beauty. Vernon Turner will take it back at the 14. Won't get a thing. Down too short of the 15-yard line. A 42-yard punt with great hang time for the Chargers' John Kidd as the altercations continue. Little melees at Anaheim Stadium with the Rams leading by 2. Sunny day in Southern California, and the Los Angeles Rams have the ball back leading by 2 as Jim Everett, who joined us late, finally came up with his first touchdown pass of the season in game number 6. He found his roommate Jim Price. And now the Rams work 1st and 10 of their own 14. Everett with problems goes down. George Hinkle was there. Bert Grossman on the opposite side. And a sack for the Chargers.
Ron Lynn, the defensive coordinator, went with a nickel package on 1st down, counting for the Ram offensive substitutions. There, it's basically a defense that covered up the receivers. The line finally got to Everett when he tried to get up the hole in the middle.
Dan, some adjustments because both offensives have sputtered in their first possessions.
Exactly. Those defensive coaches make big money because they are smart. They know what to do. Fisher made proper adjustments. Lynn did the same thing.
Call it 2nd and 13. Del Pino with a big hole. And he loses it on his way down. When they say the ground created the fumble, they're calling Del Pino down at the 18. Running backs love that rule. Defensive players can't stand it.
Rule made the stop.
Rolling after the ball, but it doesn't make any difference.
There they give him just a little pass set called the sprint draw. And really Hinkle got, Joe Phillips got tied down inside a little bit, allowing Del Pino to get outside. No question that the ground did cause that fumble. And I guess it would cause a fumble if your head got jammed up into your spine, hitting the ground like Del Pino did there, face first.
Henry Rolling made the great play to bring down Del Pino, but also suffers the injury on the play. He's attended to now as we come back to Anaheim. Just like last year, the San Diego Chargers lost a lot of close games. This year, the same story. They lost by 6 at Pittsburgh. Lost a close one at home to Atlanta, also lost by 8 at Denver, then lost at home to Kansas City by a point. They've been labeled over the last couple of years a team that'll break your heart in the 4th quarter, and now they're trailing 16-14 to the Rams early in the 3rd. As it's 3rd and long, and Everett goes for his wide-out Aaron Cox. He's got the 1st down outside of the 30 to the 34-yard line.
Well, if you talk to these cornerbacks week in and week out like we do, you've got to realize they understand how much pressure helps them. Here, Everett under no pressure at all, able to buy enough time for Aaron Cox to finally get open. Now, I don't care who you are. You don't, even Superman can't cover for 6 seconds, which is about what Everett had to throw the ball there. Got to get more pressure out of that defensive front. Everett's too good to let it stand.
Aaron Cox, a 1st-round draft choice out of Arizona State back in '88. What a draft that was for the Rams with Cox in the 1st round and Flipper Anderson in the 2nd round. Everett on the dump off. Cleveland Gary breaks a tackle, maneuvers his way to the 40-yard line, gets 6 on the reception, put down by Gary Plummer.
On that last play, Doug Smith and Newberry had the job of blocking on Joe Phillips. One of the best stories in the league this year, I think, Joel. A guy that had an awful lot of problems off the field. Well, he basically, you know the story on that.
He was attacked outside of a restaurant, and this is a t-shirt now that's available, and you can call the Chargers office. It's Comeback Power, big number 75, to support the Crime Victims Fund. As it's 2nd and 4, Cleveland Gary. Across the 45. And back to that story, Joe Phillips did want us to emphasize to the audience that he wasn't in a fight. He wasn't an altercation. It was like a blindside hit. He was simply attacked by 3 individuals. And the great part of the story is continued, and he is going to receive his law degree after the 1st of the year from the University of San Diego, and then he will take his bars for the 1st time in February. So for those of you that would like to make a donation to support the Crime Victims Fund, you can call the Chargers office or call 619-238-1988. We'll give you that number just a little bit later. 1st down for the Rams at their own 47. They lead at 16-14. Del Pino standing on his feet. The Charger territory at the 37. Seau again in on the stop. Junior Seau, how would you rank him? Because to me, he may be one of the best all-around defensive talents in the NFL already in his 2nd season.
Well, I don't think there's any question that this kid is an extraordinary defensive talent, but they move him around so much. A couple of plays ago, they had him at left tackle, rushing the passer. There, he's in the middle. Sometimes they bring him from the outside on a blitz. So I think in a year or two, he'll be a lot better than he is now. But he has matured. And last year, you know, he used to just play his own game, run through holes, blitz when he wanted to, and say, oh, I thought I heard a call. This year he's a different player, more mature, trying to do everything right.
2nd and 4 for Everett, who's throwing and has a wide open Robert Delpino for a first down. A flag is down to play. Throw to the air with the tight end Jim Price. Big play possibly, we'll find out. Did it go against the Rams? 17 yards on the completion. Gordon McCarter, the referee.
Maybe a push off by Price.
Pass interference, number 87, offense.
That's what it is.
10-yard penalty, repeat 2nd down.
A lot of times, those possession guys, they like to run right into a defensive player and then more or less bounce off, push off, and then basically uncover for a minute and catch the ball like that. It's kind of a sneaky game, but looks like Price not sneaky enough.
7 minutes, 54 seconds left in the 3rd quarter as the clock continues to move now. The Rams lead it 16-14, so instead of a first down on the completion to Delpino, it'll be 2nd and 14 for Los Angeles, back to their own 43-yard line. So the penalties killed the Chargers in the first half, and now it does the same to John Robinson and his offensive unit. He has a man out, and it's complete. Down to the 26, the big play for the Rams.
Henry Ellard is one of those guys that you watch him during the course of the game, and it'll amaze you how smooth he is and how fast he can run. There, he just pushes a corner off, turns, and looks in. Everett delivering the ball perfectly. None to that either. Hey, these guys are getting the ball up the field, which they have not been able to do that much this year. They used to stretch the field better than any team in the league practically. Everett throwing so many touchdown passes over the course of 3 years that, you know, I think they're trying to get back to that now. They're going to say, hey, we'll throw it across over the middle deep.
Everett going for the tight end, Damone Johnson. It's complete on the short game. And Billy Ray Smith in on that stop in his 9th year from Arkansas. Haven't called the number of 54 for some time today.
Well, Billy Ray is probably the oldest member of this Charger team, and he's still a fine outside linebacker. Talking with Billy Ray this summer and back in Arkansas, and he was very, very excited about this season. He had so many injuries last year, didn't really play the way that Billy Ray Smith is capable of playing, and he's one of those guys that you can build a defensive team around him because he has all the attributes you look for. Great player, great leader. He's been a bell cow there for a lot of years.
It's at the 20, where it's 2nd and 4. And it's Cleveland Gary reversing his direction as he almost lost the ball. He lost the handle, got it back in time though, and loses a yard.
Joe Phillips looked like he was hungry and trying to steal a loaf of bread out of there. He was just jerking on the ball, trying to get it out. You'll see the Rams running that counter OT, pulling Duvall Love and Jackie Slater from the right side. Chargers did a good job of jamming it up, and here you'll see Phillips trying to give it that ball. Big Joe, 300-pound, and very, very strong. As strong as anyone on the football team. Good guys. Great to see him come back and play. And the thing is, in that beating that he took last year, his eye was severely damaged, and there was a question whether he could come back. He's almost all the way.
3rd and 5 for the Rams at the 21. Everett with time. And a receiver, it's Jim Price, who gets a block downfield. He fumbles it ahead. The Rams recover. Down to the 1-yard line. I believe Henry Ellard has it. Yes. What a break for Los Angeles.
Here you'll see Price just basically run out, get in the flat, turn around against the zone. You're going to be open. And trying to make something happen, just drops the ball. Henry Ellard, the guy that, I mean, he's always around the ball. Even if he doesn't catch a lot of passes, at the end of the game, I mean, he's blocked, he's done things that, you know, a lot of the receivers won't do. Down there trying to get an extra block, able to get the ball back for the Rams.
1st and goal for the Rams, the 1-yard line. Delpino gets a block from McGee. He's in. Touchdown, Los Angeles. Second touchdown for Robert Delpino, who leads the team in scores. He's got 7 of the Rams' 10 touchdowns this year now.
Well, the big thing about that drive was the Rams were able to get that deep pressure pass offense going again. Robinson said, hey, we're not leaving any cards in our hand. We're going to play them today.
And Tony Zendejas, perfect on the point after. So Zendejas with the extra point, and the Rams on their second possession of the second half with a touchdown and a 9-point lead. Are you sure we're in L.A.? Laid back L.A.? They're into it.
Usually silence is golden here, sometimes platinum.
Zendejas kicking it away. Donnie Elder will take it. Back inside his own goal line. And they'll stay right there. So the momentum on the side of the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams by 9 as we come back to the Big A. After the second game of the season, head coach Dan Henning fired his offensive coordinator Ted Tollner. So the offense even more accountable now for the head coach. And that plays off that final play of the first half when there was only a second left on the clock. And Dan, it was a safety for the Rams and Kevin Green.
We talked about it, how many different ways they could have avoided this. But ultimately, Dan Henning was the one that said, hey, I think we can run it. They didn't get enough blockers out there in front of him. Safety.
And almost no offense whatsoever for the San Diego Chargers since the end of the first quarter. So talk about under the gun and plenty of heat on a coach. Well, it's almost 90 degrees, or a little bit above 90 degrees in Southern California. It's probably about 120 or 130 on the Chargers sideline right now. Freeze throwing on first down by 9. He's got a man. It's complete for a first down to the 35. Anthony Miller takes a shot in the process.
Well, Jeff Fisher just going back to a very basic package, rushing 4, dropping the other 7 guys off into a zone, sometimes locking up in a man. Miller very good at finding those holes.
I know it's early, but is this possession the game basically for the San Diego Chargers because of the way momentum has swung?
Well, I just think that Fisher was able to change his strategy, quit blitzing, and let Freeze more or less have a shot at his defense.
First and 10 carry for Rod Bernstein. Huge hole. He's close to another first down. Spun down short of the 45, only inches away from a first down. Chris Pike, big Chris Pike. 6'8", 300-pounder made the hit. He was in the Chargers camp last year as a Plan B signing from the Cleveland Browns. After a couple of days in camp, they said, okay, take it home. Meaning, go back and work on it. Well, he took them literally. So he took it home all the way back to Washington, D.C., and they released him.
Well, I tell you what, he's been a great find for the Rams. He and Alvin Wright have played pretty much the entire game inside, doing a good job.
Second and inches. Bernstein just barely picks up the necessary yardage for the first down to the 46-yard line. Carl Wilson sliding over to make the hit.
The Ram defense has just been so much tougher against the run here in the second, third quarters. San Diego's going to get it going. I think they're just going to have to go ahead and let Freeze air it out.
They'll bring in the chains. The marker on the far side is down to the 45. They're bringing the chains. They needed to go near the 46-yard line. And do they have enough? Yes, by the nose of the football. Well, before this possession, since the first quarter, San Diego had only 74 yards of total offense. And 49 of that came on the touchdown pass to Nate Lewis. The Hurts 10-minute ticker. The winners, Washington, New Orleans, and Buffalo. Rolling right along those 3 powers. Dallas now at 5-2. Minnesota bounces back. Kansas City, who could have suspected they'd do another number on a tough opponent like Miami. First and 10, Bernstein gets away from Jerry Gray. He's got 8, almost 9. Call it 9 yards on the carry. Pike and Stewart finally wrapping up the running back. 6'4", 238-pound Rod Bernstein.
Well, Rod carries a lot more power than that 238 pounds listing on the program. He runs more like a 260-pounder. Here he makes a great move right there to spin off the safety. Still able to get another 6, 7, 8 yards. And you know, when you talk with Dan Henning yesterday, he says, hey, in my offense, I guarantee at least 1,000 yards for running back. Well, he's having to split time with Butts in the 1-2 combination. Pretty hard to handle.
The ground game has been the spark to this offense all year long. The passing game showed up in the first half, though, and there's the pass for Hendrickson. He is dragged down. Second of the yard right at the first down marker. Making the play, Fred Strickland, the left side linebacker. Second round pick for the Rams back in '88. And coming up tonight on NBC, an NBC News special with Tom Brokaw and Katie Couric, the Thomas nomination. Now the decision. Also Man of the People, Pacific Station, and a woman named Jackie. That's the story behind Jacqueline Bouvier Kennedy Onassis, the woman you only thought you knew in the story she never wanted to be told. The woman named Jackie, based on the intimate bestseller. That's tonight only on NBC.
San Diego going with the spread here on first down.
First down from the 44 and going deep. Anthony Miller against Henley. He's got it inside the 5 and a flag. I think it was a face mask at the 1. 43 yards on the pass play.
When you talk about gutsy calls, Henning said, hey, let's go with the spread. They line up with 4 wide receivers. Just say, throw it down there to one of those guys, freeze, let them run under it. The Rams counter with the nickel package. Hawkins getting a little heat there at the end.
Personal foul, face mask, number 20, defense, on the tackle. Half the distance from the dead ball spot. First down, goal to go.
Well, Henley not able to keep up on the go pattern.
Former cornerback from UCLA in his 3rd year, Darrell Henley, beaten by Anthony Miller. Miller's beaten a number of corners over the last couple of years, and by far his best day of 1991 this afternoon at Anaheim Stadium. Coming up with a big play once again for the San Diego Chargers. Butts in front of Bernstein on 1st and goal. Bernstein over the top. Touchdown, Chargers. They're right back in it. What a key possession. Starting with the ball back at their own 20-yard line.
Well, it looks like when the offense took a break there in the second and third quarters, they came back and they were able to put it together. Running the ball effectively at times, but the big play was when they went with that spread offense on first down and just basically let everybody run a go pattern. Freeze able to get the time to get the ball to Miller, setting up the score.
They used the spread last week against the Raiders, and Dan Henning told us yesterday they like to go to it because it's a quick rhythm offense, and it really helps for a young quarterback to be in that type of set. The extra point right on target by John Carney in a new ball game at the Big A.
Well, you know, there's only so many ways. We've got a melee going.
There have been a few of these so far this afternoon. And the two teams don't get together all that often, but they do in the preseason. The two teams did meet during the preseason.
Well, I just think that's emotion coming out. The Chargers know that they're onto something good. They've got a couple of games where they've played sound. Last week they won their first game. They want to get after it. The Rams, they want to get to 3-3 very badly. So you're going to see these guys get after it.
And looking ahead to next Sunday, NBC Sports presents more exciting NFL action. It all starts at 12:30 Eastern. Bob Costas and NFL Live. First games, Houston, Miami, Seattle, and Pittsburgh. The second games, some of you will see Kansas City and Denver, the game Dan and I will be doing, or Cleveland, matching up with these same San Diego Chargers. So check your local listings, but it all gets underway with NFL Live next Sunday at 12:30 Eastern. And all of a sudden, a very tight affair for Dan Henning. And the difference in the contest again, the safety by Kevin Green on the final play of the first half as the Rams lead it by 2 with 11 seconds left in the third quarter. And there will be a lot of talk about that, obviously, for the next few days and post-game. Regardless who wins this contest, there are going to be a lot of questions about the play calling down around the goal line at the end of the first half. But John Freeze and the offense really bounced back on that second possession of the second half. By far the best day for Freeze in his young NFL career. He has 243 yards passing, already a career high, and still 15 minutes left to play, plus 11 seconds. Carney gets into it from his own 35. It'll be brought back by Ron Brown. And a big hole for Ron Brown. Donnie Elder with a flag down on the play. Down around the 20-yard line. Pops him out of bounds near the 35. But got a feeling it's going against the return team.
Well, the Rams special teams have been playing so much better than they had in the last couple of years, generating an awful lot of hidden offense for John Robinson.
Illegal block, number 38, receiving team during the return. 10 yards from the spot of the foul, first down.
Call is made on reserve running back David Lang out of Northern Arizona. So that takes it instead of the 35-yard line. The Rams will go 1st and 10 from their own 13. Big win for the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame over Pitt yesterday, and then the next one for Notre Dame. What a classic rivalry this has been throughout the years. The Trojans of USC, who won in the Palouse yesterday in Pullman, Washington, beating the Cougars by 7. They're up next for the Fighting Irish right here on NBC. Notre Dame and USC. Jim Everett has hit 15 of his last 16 passes. And the give barely got it off to Robert Delpino. Breakdown in the communication of that handoff, but it worked for the Rams for 7 yards out to the 21-yard line. And that is the final play of the third quarter. So a tied affair at Anaheim Stadium. The Rams lead it by 2 at the end of 3. Be right back after these messages from your locals. Preview of what we'll see in Barcelona, the 92 Summer Games. That's the McDonald's Open live from Paris, coming up on NBC. And out of the backfield on 2nd and short, Robert Delpino is popped by George Thornton. He's a rookie from Alabama, their 2nd-round draft choice. Young man from Montgomery, Alabama, with a big play on his first call of the day. And the numbers through 3. Well, you remember the first 15 minutes of play, the Chargers owned it. But over the last 30 minutes, the Rams have had the ball for 22 of the last 30. Now look at the Chargers passing game with John Freeze. Boy, exactly the opposite of what you would expected coming in.
Seemed like every time the Rams went to a pressure defense, Freeze was able to get the ball to the guy he had to.
It's out at the 16 where it's 3rd and 8. Everett with plenty of time. Going deep. Looking for his wideout. And a flag down as he wanted Ron Brown, who's in the shoving match down the sideline. It looked like Donald Frank, the corner. Will it be a hold or will it be interference?
Pass interference, number 57 defense, automatic first down.
I think he means 27, Donald Frank.
Yes.
And Rawlings said, hey, I wasn't even in the same county. Don't call my number. Yes, it's Donald Frank there. You see him not looking back for the ball, basically trying to play the receiver's hands and slap his hands down, keeping him from being able to catch it. You'll get caught every time like that. The smart thing to do is look back and, if anything, run over the guy. But if you're looking back for the ball, you can get away with it.
A 36-yard penalty on Donald Frank gives the Rams a 1st and 10 at the 48-yard line. Over the middle, Aaron Cox takes his shot. He's down to the 44 for a gain of 4. That was the 8th penalty. And almost 100 yards in mark-offs on those 8 for San Diego. It's the Dr. Pepper 10-minute ticker. Rolling down all the scores. Well, now can the Rams answer after that long drive by the San Diego Chargers? An 80-yard drive finished off with a 1-yard touchdown run by Rod Bernstein. There's 13 and a half minutes left in the contest, and the Rams lead it by 2. About on 2nd and 6 from the 44. Everett with problems, and Cooper McGee making a nice grab. Inside the 25, the former Charger burns his former teammates. Great hands.
Well, for the first time in quite a spell, Everett had some pressure, and it came from Junior Seau, who was working on the center, Doug Smith, right up the middle there. Everett able to get the ball off. But you got to think that the Ram offensive line has been doing a great job giving him time today. Something he hasn't had. It wasn't a commodity. There was an awful lot of it in New Orleans or some of the other places they had to fight it out this year. So I think Everett has got a lot more composure today than he has been.
First and 10 to the 24. Flags into the air. It looks like the Chargers may have jumped early, and that was a good snap by the center, Doug Smith, when I guess it was that recognition, Dan.
Well, Doug has been around an awful long time, and he knows that if somebody jumps, snap the ball. It's easy foul.
Encroachment, nose guard, defense, 5 yards, still first down.
Sometimes when we used to play against these young guys, we could jump off sides and then get back, take a second or two, and they wouldn't snap it. I mean, that's a smart guy. You snap the ball, it's an easy 5. First and 5.
They call it on Joe Phillips, but there were about 2 or 3 Chargers in the encroachment area. So now it's going to be first and 5 for the Rams down to the 19-yard line of San Diego. Turning point of the season for the Los Angeles Rams, according to their head coach, John Robinson. Coming in with a 2-3 record. But to come out 500, they've got the Raiders and the Falcons coming up over their next 2. The delay for Del Pino. Breaking tackles for a first down to the 12-yard line. We've talked about the size of the running backs for San Diego. Del Pino, good size too, at 210 pounds.
Well, he's a guy that normally would play fullback, but they moved him to tailback after Cleveland Gary had the fumbling problems, and he has responded in a terrific fashion there. You see just inside slashing. Finally, Stanley Richard, the free safety, had to get him pulled out.
Who would have expected the Los Angeles Rams to be outgaining the San Diego Chargers so far on the ground with 11:35 left in the contest. First and 10 from the 12. Plenty of time for Everett. A bullet to Price. Touchdown Rams! And that's got another.
The Rubies will probably be the toast of the town tonight, but the guys that are making it happen are the offensive linemen. They are keeping those defensive linemen of the San Diego Chargers at bay. They're Everett all day, able to wait, look off the primary, goes back to Price, and guns it in there.
Zendejas in for the point after. The former Houston Oiler. Again, a 9-point lead that should be a 7-point lead. Don't forget about the safety on the final play of the first half. You're right back to Anaheim. Summer arrived late in Southern California this year. We had a cool summer. It didn't really get warm until September, and now it is hot. As you can see, trying to cool off Jim Everett. He has been red hot. He's hit 18 of his last 19, 18 of 21. Somebody wondered what's wrong with Everett coming into the game. Nothing so far today.
Yesterday, very, very relaxed, so that nothing will bother me.
Kicked by Zendejas, bounced by Elder, picked up by Nate Lewis, and he's out of bounds. A break for San Diego on the bounce to the 12-yard line.
Well, Nate Lewis has been kind of the catalyst on special teams for the last couple of weeks, and here he's a man on the spot, able to come across and get this thing before the Rams get down there and get a real cheap ball.
Zendejas has been doing that most of the day, the hard line drive fastball away from Nate Lewis. That last drive taking almost 4 minutes off the clock. Only 6 plays to travel 87 yards for Jim Everett in the offense. As the Rams are leading the Chargers 30-21. And again, the Chargers have to score twice because of the safety.
It'll be interesting to see if they stick with their knitting and ground game, or they go ahead and let Freeze try to win it for them.
Butts goes in motion on first down. Plenty of time for Freeze and a wide open H-back Walker who he misfired.
Well, I guess that's kind of the answer right there. They're going to let Freeze try to win the game. Obviously, a young guy like that, early in the year, you don't expect him to make the plays to win games. But today, it looks like they're going to have to put their eggs in his basket here. Back, able to look over the field. Not much pressure. They're a little bit at the end from Alvin Wright. Just overthrowing Walker. They've still got an awful lot of time, Joel. I don't know if I would go to 3 downs and out.
Extra defensive backs Lilly and Newman come into the game. And it's a run for Ronnie Harmon, who's tripped up from behind. Big play from behind. That was Gerald Robinson. Plan B signing this year from San Diego. Former Auburn Tiger making the stop on Harmon. So it's outside of the 15-yard line, only about 3 on the carry. And it brings up 3rd and long.
Well, I just think Jeff Fisher's done a terrific job of getting those guys on his defensive front situated where San Diego is having a hard time blocking them on running plays. Like we talked at the outset, San Diego would expect to come in leading the league in rushing and be able to pound and control the ball. So far, the Rams have pretty much shut them down.
2nd and a long 6. Actually 3rd and a long 6. And Freeze's on his way down. They strip him of the ball, but they say he was down already. And it was Gerald Robinson again, circling in for the sack. Well, the Rams this year concentrated on defense when they went to the trap. John Robinson said it'll be the same situation next year with Jeff Fisher. We'll go to the draft looking for defensive help.
Well, Harry Swain, the left tackle, is just basically beat by Robinson. Here's a guy that Minnesota drafted to rush the passer. He hadn't made it happen so far, but today he's playing great.
Looked like it could have possibly been a fumble.
Yes.
So a break for the Chargers, but they call it only a sack. And now Kidd punts out of his own end zone. Vernon Turner waiting back at the Rams 45. Another beauty from John Kidd. High hanger from the 40. Nifty move by Turner to put it into Charger territory. And only go about 10 yards on the return, make it 11 exactly. But a big 11 at that for Vernon Turner. The Rams with the ball back in good field position, up by 9. Mistakes have killed the San Diego Chargers today. Physical mistakes, of course, on the field. Mental mistakes on the sideline as well. Play calling in that final series before the first half that turned into 2 points of safety for the Los Angeles Rams. That'll be questioned for a long time. And penalty flags all day long against the San Diego Chargers. Just far too many. 1st and 10 for the Rams, the 48-yard line. Everett for Price. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Talking about that safety, Joel, I mean, if you're the play caller, if you're the defensive coordinator, if you're the corner, wherever you are, if you're a part of the San Diego football team, you're still thinking about that play. It haunts you. It's something that, I mean, it's hard to shake, and it kind of permeates your attitude, almost like a defeatist kind of thing. So, you know, San Diego needs to get the ball back and try to get back on the scoreboard again.
9 minutes, 42 seconds left in the contest. Dan Henning gets ready for the next offensive series with Anthony Miller on the sideline. Cleveland Gary tripped up. He was trying to get out of the way of the guard, Tom Newberry. No gain on the carry. It'll bring up 3rd and 10.
George Hinkle busting up inside, making some penetration there, getting it shut down.
Coming up tonight on NBC and NBC News Special, the Thomas nomination. Now the decision with Tom Brokaw and Katie Couric. That will preempt the adventures of Mark and Brian in Erie, Indiana, but it will be followed by Man of the People, Pacific Station, and A Woman Named Jackie. That's all tonight on NBC. Call it a loss of a yard. So now 3rd and 11 for Everett and the offense. Design roll for Everett, and it's batted away by Gilbert from Henry Ellard. Perfect timing by the defensive back.
Well, Gilbert's a guy that has played so well so long, you kind of take him for granted, but they're like a smart guy, just kind of hangs in that back pocket of the receiver, and then at the last second slaps the ball out. It was a good series by the San Diego defense, getting the Rams shut down, now giving John Freeze and his offense a couple more cracks at it.
And a possession where the Rams could have essentially put the game away. Instead, the door is still open for the San Diego Chargers. Hatcher punting. Hangs up a high one for Kittrick Tanner and the former Washington State Cougar. They're catching it at the 11-yard line. A 37-yard punt by Hatcher. When we come back, the Chargers have it, but they're still trailing by 9. On the last 3 possessions for the San Diego Chargers, 2 of the 3 have been 3 snaps and out with a punt, as opposed to the way they started the game with all that momentum and an early 14-7 lead when they had 2 touchdowns over their first 3 possessions. Now San Diego gets it 1st and 10 at their own 11-yard line, trailing by 9. The momentum continues to be on the side of the Los Angeles Rams. Plenty of time in the pocket for John Freeze. Good grab of the wideout Nate Lewis. Green was stretching out, trying to get a finger on it. Jerry Gray the same. Splitting up the possessions for the Los Angeles Rams. 2 touchdowns over their last 3 possessions. Even further, 4 over their last 6. But that last one may come back to haunt the Los Angeles Rams. 1st and 10. The only time they started with the ball in San Diego territory, and it was 3 snaps and a punt, where they could have essentially put the game away. Clock rolling. Under 8:10 left. Bernstein on 2nd down with the 1st down outside of the 35. Out to the 38-yard line, a 19-yard carry. Terrell and Stewart making the stops in the secondary. Rod mentioned to us yesterday, you know, my wife heard a game early and said there were 260 pounds I was carrying this year. Remind everybody I'm only 238, please.
Well, that was my mistake. He just looks like 260. Here you'll see Eric Mouton, the left guard, do a great job of hooking Alvin Wright, the defensive tackle. Bernstein, scary in the secondary.
1st and 10 for the Chargers. 38-yard line, Bernstein for 3 to the 41. Tough going that time between the 2 tackles. Checking out the Dr. Pepper 10-minute ticker. First of all, the late scores. The second games around the NFL today. Kansas City did a number on Buffalo, and in a short work week, another one against Miami. Atlanta has regained the lead over San Francisco. And the Jets tight with Houston as the Jets try to move over the 500 mark to 4-3. 2nd and 7 for the Chargers. Their own 41-yard line. Under 7 minutes left. Freeze has his wideout. It's complete. Plenty of cushion there against Jerry Gray. It's Anthony Miller with another reception.
Well, we're not seeing an awful lot of pressure put on by Freeze. He's keeping a lot of backs, H-backs, fullbacks, guys in, tight ends to try to help slow down the Ram rush. But Kevin Green dropped that time. Now, he's their best pass rusher. If you want to get some pressure, you need to go with your ace. Kevin Green going back to left linebacker today, getting more in space. Robinson said we get more production out of less opportunities. Well, I think he needs to produce rushing the passer.
Are they getting conservative too early?
It's hard to say. Fisher's a very progressive coach. I think he'll come with a package here pretty quick.
1st and 10 for the Rams, 47 over the middle. It's complete to Taylor. He takes a pop from the strong safety Michael Stewart. Talking about Jeff Fisher, told us yesterday he's never been around safeties as talented as the 3 he's working with here: Stewart, Terrell, and Anthony Newman. And that includes what he had with the Eagles and also his playing days with the Bears.
Well, the Bears had 3 guys playing at times that had been in the Pro Bowl, so that's a big compliment. And it's not so much just the safeties. The 2 cornerbacks are playing super, too. There, Freeze does a smart thing, just goes to a little dump.
2nd and short, 2nd and 4. Freeze throwing again. Eluding pressure with a flag down the play. Finds Ronnie Harmon for the 1st down. And Harmon out of bounds at the 31.
Well, it's either going to be holding on Kevin Green or Kevin Green offsides. He got a heck of a jump there on the right tackle. So he may have to resort to grabbing. Roderick Thompson.
First call, offside Green.
Yes. Like I said, I think Fisher knows that he needs to get some pressure. Kevin Green feels like if it's going to happen, he's got to make it happen.
91 defense, penalty decline. The play makes it a 1st down.
Kevin Green led the team in sacks for the 3rd straight year with 13 last year. That was the 3rd best total in the NFC. He only picked up his 2nd of the season in the last game against Green Bay. A very slow start, but a different position.
Well, not only that, Joel, but if you play at a defensive end position, you're going to be kind of closed down and confined. He's at his best when he's out, able to stand up, get 2 or 3 yards away from the tackle, and make the tackle come to him.
5.5 minutes remaining. 1st and 10 Chargers. They're 31 of the Rams. Can Harmon get out of the backfield? No, he won't. Kevin Green. He is definitely the spark for this squad defensively.
Well, when you talk to the guy, you look at him, he kind of looks like kind of a, one of those wild dogs. He loves to play defense, likes to talk about the attitude. Here, he just splits the two backside offensive linemen pulling, just goes ahead and wraps him up. And that's the thing. He was off the line of scrimmage, outside the tight end, way out away from the guys that are supposed to block him, out in space.
When he arrived at Auburn, he was 185 pounds. Now he goes to 250.
Still moves like he's 220.
Second and long. Freeze with time. Has Anthony Miller for the first down inside the 20. Down inside the 18-yard line.
Well, that's the thing you look at when you go back and look at this game today. Maybe you're seeing John Freeze grow up. He has been able to stay composed all afternoon, and now he's making the smart moves.
And Anthony Miller available today and frequently, his 7th reception. Chargers down by 9. First and 10 to the Rams 18. Ronnie Harmon up the middle. Pulled down from behind, making the big play. It was Bill Hawkins. He's missed the last 4 games with a rib injury.
Well, Big Bill kind of McRibbed Harmon on that one. It's a plus to have him back.
Second and long. McEwen almost with the touchdown. Off the fingertips of the wide-open H-back. Freeze almost had his 3rd touchdown toss of the afternoon.
Well, Joe, we talked to him yesterday. We said, hey, you've grown up so much since game 1. Where do you rate yourself? He says, right now, I'm about a 6, but I can get a lot better. Here, a perfect strike, maybe a little high. That's a real catchable ball. It was right in McEwen's face mask. I mean, you've got to be able to make those plays. And last week, they made some big plays. Today, they really haven't made all the ones they have to.
On a scale of 1 to 10, giving himself a 6 overall. So far today, he's been close to a 10, though. A career high in passing yardage. And now a 3rd and 8 from the 14. Over the middle, it's complete, but what a shot taken by Nate Lewis. And that was Anthony Newman, the extra defensive back in there. Well short of the first down. And now the Chargers will call a timeout and a decision. They need 2 scores. Do you go for the field goal now, or do you go for it on 4th down? We'll find out as John Freeze deliberates with Dan Henning. Jeff Fisher trying to read the hand that Dan Henning is going to deal now. Will it be the place-kicking unit coming on? Yes. John Carney will come on. As the Chargers trail by 9.
Well, I think you've got to go ahead and get the sure points, because if you don't get anything, then the rest of the game is just completely elementary. Now you have a chance to come back and make one big drive to get a score.
3 minutes and 42 seconds remaining. It'll be a 27-yard field goal attempt by John Carney. His 9 of 14 on the season. His first attempt of the afternoon. It comes out of the hold of the punter, John Kidd. And the Chargers cut the deficit down to 6.
Well, the big blow coming when Craig McEwen couldn't hang on to that ball, and we don't want to single out anyone, but that has to be a pass that you got to make the play on.
So the Rams lead it by a 6, and you hate to dwell on it, but it's the difference in the game right now. On 4th down and about 5, they would have definitely gone for the first down or the touchdown, trailing by 7. But it was a 9-point difference because of the safety on the final play of the first half. Dr. Pepper 10-minute ticker as we check in with all the finals around the NFL. Dallas at 5-2 with that victory. And Kansas City doing a number on Miami as the Dolphins will fall to 3-4. Kansas City will raise their record to 5-2 as the 49ers get a late touchdown, take a 1-point lead over the Falcons. And it is still all even between the Jets and the Oilers.
I think John Freeze has just shown remarkable improvement. Like we said, he said he rates himself about a 6, and then he was telling a story about how he watched film this past week of a game in the preseason with the Rams, and we said, well, what do you think your rating was then? He laughed and said, hey, I thought I was a 7, but I was really about a 4. So he's really made a lot of strides in the last couple of months.
Now do the Rams have to worry about an onside kick with 3 minutes and 38 seconds left. They've got their basic package out there, only 5 men up on the 50-yard line. The Chargers have a number of defensive backs out there, what you would consider basically a hands team. A team that can get to the ball in a hurry.
Well, there's something that you might want to think about. If you remember how Zendejas' kick went in and hit that infield dirt and acted real crazy, they might try for that. And that's it.
It's picked up by one of the up men. He cradles it to the 25-yard line and bringing it back to the Rams. Their long snapper, Mike McDonald, who was studying to become a fireman when John Robinson said, "How would you like to snap for me?"
Kind of a crazy story. He says, "Hey, I'm not really I'm a football player anymore. I'm a deep snapper," and he's about as good as you can get. Kept his job for a lot of years with John Robinson, just snapping the football.
An outstanding day for both quarterbacks, John Freeze and Jim Everett. A career high 300 yards in passing today. So many comparisons with Freeze and Dan Fouts. Not the most mobile like Dan Fouts, but a very thick, tall guy who can see the field well.
Yeah, they scramble about the same way.
First and 10 from the 25 for the Rams. It's Buford McGee, very sure-handed running back. Ball security at the utmost now for the Rams, as the Chargers, remember, have only 2 timeouts remaining. San Diego with only 2 timeouts left, and San Diego had an early 14-7 lead. Then the Rams got a late touchdown and then a safety on the final play of the first half to go into the halftime locker room with a 16-14 advantage. And they traded touchdowns in the third, where the Rams eventually moved out to a 9-point lead early in the fourth. And now it's a 6-point differential with 2:55 of the clock moving remaining in the contest. Fourth quarter has been a problem for the Rams before, as you could see. Everett has Ellard, and he can't hang on. And a flag is down on the play.
Well, that's usually in an area where they're going to call defensive holding. I see Bayless walking around with his hands up like, what do you mean, me?
It may have been a pick. Price was in the neighborhood early.
Well, what we're talking about when we say pick is you have a couple of receivers, and when they get in man-on-man coverage, they'll kind of run a crossing pattern and screen each
Pass
other.
interference, number 87 offense. Penalty declined, 3rd down.
It was called on Jim Price, the tight end, the second call against him like that today. So now it's going to bring up 3rd and long.
Well, this is a very, very important series, obviously, but this is probably the down that will decide the game. We'll see what Ron Lynn, the defensive coordinator, goes with. He's going with a pure nickel package.
3 wideouts setting up. Who Jim Everett will operate out of the shotgun on 3rd and 7. Everett with time. Aaron Cox short the first down. The Chargers hold. He's at the 34, needed across the 35, and Gil Byrd with a big tackle on the wideout. And now the Chargers use another timeout, so they have 1 timeout remaining with 2 minutes and 33 seconds left. It has certainly turned around for Dan Henning for the San Diego Chargers to the point where they do have the opportunity for the victory with 2 minutes and 33 seconds left. They've got 1 timeout remaining, and they're ready to get the ball back in decent field position, barring a turnover. As Kittrick Taylor is going back, Dale Hatcher is not the type of punter who hangs out 50, 60 yarders. His last one was only 37 yards. Taylor making a running start on this back at his own 22-yard line. He had a 24-yard return last week against the Raiders. It's a high wobbler and a short one by Hatcher. And it takes a San Diego bounce. It'll be touched right around the 38-yard line. Only a 28-yard punt by Dale Hatcher.
I think it's not really football players. In general, it's kickers and punters that give coaches gray hair. Hatcher, a fine kicker. He'll go out and kick 3 balls perfect. And then Robinson said, you go on one day, and you say, what's this guy doing?
John mentioned that he still kicks him great in practice. It's game day that upsets him.
Well, it obviously looks a lot easier than it is. Now, I'm no kicker, but I know this, that when you have a job like that, and it's a big play where if you drive that ball deep down there and get yourself some good field position, you can be a hero or a goat pretty easy.
The Chargers need to travel now 62 yards to take the lead. as Lewis goes in motion on 1st and 10. Over the middle, it's dropped. But a little bit behind Nate Lewis. Newman defending.
Well, Jeff Fisher, the defensive coordinator, going with a very, very heavily pressure type defense. Receivers all up, corners all up on the line, banging on those receivers, trying to shut down those deep crossers, and Freeze basically having to go to those little shallow patterns right behind where the linebackers vacate.
John Robinson said he can't believe the wisdom that Jeff Fisher has acquired as a coach, and he's only 32 years old. The defensive coordinator for the Rams, 2nd and 10 for the Chargers. Plenty of time, and it's dropped again. Nate Lewis felt the pressure coming up from behind with his back to the defensive back Newman.
Well, the Rams going just a basic 4-man rush. Freeze just backing up, trying to dump it to him. Lewis drops it. And that's probably one of the things that if Dan Henning could change about his offense is he's had an awful lot of drop passes so far this year. That is something that you just hate to see, and it's something that we really have a hard time getting those receivers to drop.
You've got to look for 83 in this spot. Anthony Miller, he's already got 7 receptions today. As it's now 3rd and 10 from the 38. And is he going for Miller? And it's knocked away by Newman. He wanted Ronnie Harmon. Robert Bailey there, the extra defensive back. 28, not 26, who was just activated due to the injury to Tom Light.
You know, there's something about that defense right there that really bothers me. Quarterbacks, on an awful lot of time, they get in this mode where they think they have 3.5 seconds or something. The Rams went with a 3-man rush. Fisher dropped off the 4th guy, basically going to a soft zone with man under coverage. Hey, Freeze could have had 5-6 seconds to wait to get the ball to a guy when he got open. Instead, he threw it on time to a shallow guy. Wouldn't have been any good anyway.
2:08 left. Is this the turning point of the Rams season, trying to get to 500? 3rd and 10, Ronnie Harmon. Will he get to the first down marker? On his feet? No! The Rams take over on a running play by the Chargers on 4th and 10. So Dan Henning tried to slip the changeup past the Rams, and it didn't pay off. The Rams get it back. Don't forget the Chargers with only 1 timeout left. John Freeze and the Chargers failing it on 4th and 10, but he had a spectacular day overall and may get another chance before it's all over.
Well, they don't have any problem with this kid's play today. He did everything they asked him to. A few drops have really cost him. But the thing is, on that last series, the 3rd down, with only 3 guys rushing, he had all day to throw the ball. Little things like that, you just enduring the years that you play, you develop experience, you know you got more time. Let those receivers uncover. He'll learn it.
1st and 10 for the Rams, the San Diego 45, Buford McGee hanging onto it like it's a bar of gold for a yard to the 44-yard line, put down by Gary Plummer. Updating you once again on scores around the NFL as the Dr. Pepper 10-minute ticker. The powerhouse is winning as expected today. And if this game ends a little bit early, many of you will have an opportunity to possibly finish up the Houston-New York Jets affair that's tied right now at 13, right at the conclusion of today's Rams contest with the Chargers.
Well, I think if you had to look at some guys that made the things happen today, it was Fisher had a darn good defensive package to slow down that running game of San Diego, and the offensive line for the Rams controlled the San Diego front. But I'm sure Dan Henning's got one thing on his mind. One play that he called at the last of the first half.
The last play of the first half that resulted in a safety for the Rams and Kevin Green when they gave the ball to Marion Butts instead of possibly just throwing it at the feet of the wide receiver to end the half because there was only 1 second remaining.
Hindsight's a lot clearer in 2020 sometimes.
Easy from up here. McGee again. And San Diego has used their last time out already. Now they can no longer stop the clock, as the Rams will be looking at a 3rd and just about 6. Clock rolls. Under 1 minute and 40 seconds left.
But I think the big thing was that you know, the Rams offense finally got on track today. That's a big break.
And let's take a look at today's Canon camcorder replay of the game, and it has to be that first one. Finally, after 5+ games, Jim Everett has a touchdown pass, and it went to his roommate, tight end Jim Price. How do you spell relief?
Well, I tell you what, Jim Everett's thrown an awful lot of touchdown passes in the last 3 or 4 years. He may like that one the best of all.
Buford McGee hangs on to it, despite taking quite a hit up the middle. He gets it down to the 39 on 3rd and 6. It'll bring up 4th and 4. And the punting unit will come on for the Rams. Under a minute left. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast, whether use of the telecast without the express written consent of the Los Angeles Rams and the National Football League is prohibited. And this game is a property of the NFL, the Rams, and the Chargers, all rights reserved. And there is an injury as Martin Bayless is down. That stops the clock with 51 seconds remaining. And you know how the Rams feel about this.
Yes, we've seen some of these pratfalls.
Now, it would be a charged timeout to the Chargers if they had one remaining, but they're out of timeouts.
Shades of the New York Jets. Well, John Robinson told us yesterday, he said, hey, if we can just get back to 3-3, we're back in this thing.
The Oilers taking a 3-point lead, and as soon as this game is concluded, we will send you right to the Jets and Oilers contest in New Jersey.
Well, you've got to think Dan Henning's going to hear an awful lot about the call today, and you know we've talked that he's been walking on coals for quite a while with his job, but I don't know. You know, Joe, we were talking at the break. I just don't know what you accomplish by, say, letting Dan Henning go. Who you going to get to come in and do it? So.
Well, he's already fired the offensive coordinator, so he is handling the offense now as he let Ted Tollner go after game number 2.
Well, they scored 24 points against a pretty fine Ram defense. It's not really the offense's problem today. The defense just was not able to stop the Rams when they had to.
Atlanta has regained the lead over San Francisco 36-34 at Candlestick Park. And now Everett and the offense staying on the field. Is this a surprise on 4th down?
No, just take a knee and get rid of it.
Clock continues to roll. Well, the Rams can take the delay of game and then bring the punting unit on, which is exactly what they'll probably do.
Yeah. What's up, man?
Under 30 seconds left. Jim Everett with 2 touchdown tosses today, both going to his roommate, tight end Jim Price. So the Rams will take the delay of game. Dale Hatcher comes onto the field. And the tip drill will be in effect for the San Diego Chargers. Now, can the Chargers get to the punter? Their special teams were spectacular last Sunday against the Raiders. Can they make the big play with 23 seconds remaining? It's a 6-point Ram lead, 30-24.
I'm looking at big Jackie Slater coming off the field. He was a big part of the reason the Rams won this ball game today.
Can Hatcher get it away in time? Here they come. Plenty of time for a Hatcher. Nobody back for the Chargers. He takes a Rams roll. Now they don't want to touch it. They want more seconds off the clock as it dies inside the 8-yard line. So 12 seconds remaining.
Well, Joel, on that, no one was back to return it. A lot of times, if you're not having a lot of success getting a return going, you think, hey, we'll just send everybody we got, get a mismatch, and see, you got only 10 guys blocking, and you got 11 guys coming. There's someone that should be open. And if the Rams do anything incorrectly, the time is destroyed, and you got to block. If they're the Rams, having a fine special teams unit year in, year out, I mean, no problem at all.
Chargers out of timeouts with 12 seconds remaining. Talk about a deep zone. It'll be a deep center field for the Rams on this play.
Well, Guppy, as we used to call him, Jeff Fisher, when he was playing with me back in Chicago, Guppy's going to send 3 guys to rush the passer, and everybody else go back and put your heels on the 10-yard line. Don't let them across. But here's where Freeze, if he's learning these things, he can look and say, there's only 3 guys rushing. I've got 6 blocking. I've got a long time for something to happen.
Only 2 wideouts setting up for John Freeze, who dumps it off to Ronnie Harmon. Harmon will get out of bounds, stopping the clock with 6 seconds left. So now one more snap for the offense of the San Diego Chargers.
I don't know what he's thinking about there. I had 6 seconds left now, and what's the difference between going 86 yards and 95 yards? I mean, if you're going to throw a bomb, at least throw it twice. Get an interference call, something down around midfield, and have another shot at the end zone. Boy, now that one there threw me.
Well, now they finally put trips out. The last play, they only had 2 wideouts set up.
I mean, you might as well throw a white flag up if you don't try to throw it down the field. Now it looks like they're going to try to stretch it.
And Freeze looking for Lewis on the tip drill. It's intercepted by Pat Terrell, and that'll do it. The Rams beat the Chargers by 6. So that big play, the safety will haunt Dan Henning for the Chargers as they fall to 1-6. For Dan Hampton, I'm Joel Myers. Let's head to Marv Albert and Paul McGuire now in New Jersey.